This is the morning of the 3rd of November. Clip put up by Spill T Vibe. Turning Point USA insider leaks Erika Kirk's secret deal with Chief of Staff. The truth is out. Well, let's listen to this 20-minute clip.
On video, TPUSA Chief of Staff Mikey McCoy stands near Charlie. A shot rings out. Mikey lifts the phone to his ear, turns, and walks away before Kirk falls.
And I want to thank the Turning Point USA board and my husband's chief of staff, the amazing Mikey McCoy.
Mikey McCoy, once hailed as Charlie Kirk's shadow twin, the brother he never had. But now, that same man turns his back, walking away in eerie calm, his phone pressed tightly to his ear, eyes cold, expression unreadable. The world froze wondering, why now? Why would the man who once swore loyalty vanish so quietly, just seconds after the moment that shattered everything?
Mikey was behind the tent when Charlie got shot, and Mikey, in less than a second, does something that I find to be quite strange. He puts his phone to his ear, and he begins a conversation.
When Charlie was suddenly harmed, there's newly surfaced footage that's sending chills across the internet. It shows Mikey leaving the scene before Charlie even lost balance, almost like he already knew what was about to unfold. The timing looks way too perfect to be coincidence. He didn't rush to check if his friend was okay when that loud, startling sound echoed through the room.
We're going to be doing about 5 more episodes a week now, so just tell the team and make sure that happens.
3 hours of this, 2 more hours of...
It's like, lady, wasn't your husband just publicly executed only a couple of weeks ago? I've never had this much joy on my best day. She's just full...
He didn't even turn around, not once, as Charlie fought to stay on his feet, gasping for balance. The internet's echoing the same question. What kind of brother walks away like that? The same man Erika Kirk once cried over in her first speech, calling him loyal, trustworthy, a man of pure heart. But that picture-perfect loyalty? It's starting to rot. Because Candace Owens just detonated a truth bomb so big, it's rewriting everything we thought we knew.
And I'm watching, the minute Charlie was shot, he called me, says, Dad, Charlie's been shot in the neck. Please call every pastor and pray. It's okay, son. He has wits about him. He was just directing. He had blood all over him.
She claims Mikey refused to reveal who he was on the phone with during that very moment. Why stay silent if there's nothing to hide? The public's already digging into call logs, timestamps, and background voices trying to uncover the truth. Was Mikey getting instructions? Was he trying to warn someone? Or was this all just one huge misunderstanding being painted as something darker? Whatever the truth is, one thing's clear. People aren't buying the Innocent Bystander Act anymore.
On video, TPUSA Chief of Staff Mikey McCoy stands near Charlie. A shot rings out. Mikey lifts the phone to his ear, turns, and walks away before Kirk falls. No visible dial motion, no rush to aid. Why?
The internet has erupted, theories spinning, whispers turning into wild accusations. But amidst all the chaos, one thing stands out. Mikey's cold, calculated walkaway. That silence. It might be the loudest clue yet in this web of betrayal. And now Candace Owens isn't holding back. She's dragging the spotlight straight onto Mikey McCoy, forcing the world to question what really happened in those missing seconds.
It was an extremely disgusting attack. And I can speak to that because I was there when it happened and I was next to Mikey when it happened. And what I can say is, I can't say every single thing that happened, but I want to talk about this specific narrow thing. That the shooting occurs. I am next to Mikey. Both of us hear a loud crack. We both turn. We both see Charlie, who has been shot. Both of us, I think at about the same time, realize that means there is a shooter who is on the scene. And, you just hear the crack, so you don't know, did it come from far away? Did it come from close? Is there a mass shooter unfolding right now? So I and him both had the reaction of, let's get out of here before we're both shot. That is not us abandoning Charlie. Charlie had a security team. They all leapt immediately into action. And I'll never forget what I saw because it was clear in the moment that he was profoundly freaked out. What I'll always remember is the way his lip was quivering, which I'd never seen before. And you very rarely see from someone that he was freaking out. And then I think he literally said to me, I might be imagining this, but I think what he literally said was, he was looking around, and then he says, I need to call Erika. And then he takes his phone and he begins calling Erika. I put that phone away, and then he immediately calls his dad. He calls Rob McCoy, and he says, Dad, someone shot Charlie. You need to call all of your pastor friends. Charlie was hit. We need everyone to pray. Right.
Candace isn't just asking questions. She's tearing his timeline apart, frame by frame. Every glance, every step.
Why has...
Another ad just popped up.
Every pause before and after that chilling moment is under her microscope. She's not letting him slip through the cracks, exposing just how calm, detached, and disturbingly ready he looked when chaos exploded around him. But here's the real twist. While everyone's obsessing over Mikey's suspicious calm,
I want to thank the first responders who struggled heroically. And I want to thank the Turning Point USA board, the COO, Justin Strife, and my husband's chief of staff, the amazing Mikey McCoy.
Wait a minute. Candace is also hinting that something just doesn't add up with Erika Kirk's actions either. Erika's behavior right after the chaos was just as puzzling. Both she and Pastor Rob McCoy, who happens to be Mikey's father, claim that Mikey called them right after Charlie was hurt. But here's where it gets wild. If that's true, then why are their versions of the story slightly different? One says the call came right after the noise. The other says it happened before emergency responders even arrived. So which one's telling the truth?
And that's when the great Mikey McCoy showed up. Actually, he was there just before that happened.
Now the internet's turning into a crime scene. Every frame, every second dissected like evidence. The question echoing across millions of screens. Who's lying? Or worse, are they both hiding something far bigger? Imagined? The timelines are cracking apart, the statements keep changing, and that mysterious phone call, the one Mikey made as Charlie fell, has become the centerpiece of the chaos. Whoever was on the other end might hold the key to unraveling everything. Something's deeply wrong here. It reeks of betrayal, the kind that cuts deepest when it comes from family. And that's exactly what it's starting to look like, a full-blown cover-up by the very people Charlie Kirk trusted most. His inner circle, the friends he once called family, might have known more than they ever let on. Fans are calling it the ultimate act of disloyalty. And the more footage that leaks, the harder it is to deny. Comment sections are exploding. Supporters are demanding answers, calling for a full investigation into Mikey McCoy, Charlie's own chief of staff, his so-called right-hand man, and what really happened that night on September 10th. Theories are snowballing, timelines are being torn apart, and one question is rising above all the noise. If Mikey's reaction was real, where was the fear, and why did it look so rehearsed? Everyone's losing their minds over the new footage, the one that froze the internet in disbelief. Mikey McCoy, calm as ice, strolling away with his phone pressed to his ear while chaos detonates behind him. No shock, no hesitation, just a quiet, deliberate walk through the storm. The timing? Bone-chilling, because right after that explosive sound ripped through the room, Mikey was already on the line, already calling someone. And fans can't stop asking, who was he talking to? Why wasn't he helping Charlie? At this point, it's no longer about the clip. It's about trust. It's about loyalty. It's about what people really do when no one's supposed to be watching. And now, the internet's detectives are wide awake. Every second of Mikey's body language is being replayed, slowed down, analyzed, his calm demeanor becoming more suspicious with every frame. Something doesn't add up. And until the truth surfaces, the whispers are only getting louder. Just seconds after that deafening noise rattled the room, Mikey didn't flinch. He didn't rush to help. Didn't even glance back at Charlie, his friend, his leader, his so-called brother. Instead, he walked away with the steady calm of someone who already knew how the story would end. That reaction, that eerie composure, has everyone asking the same haunting question. What did Mikey know that the rest of them didn't? And remember, this isn't some background staffer. This is Charlie's chief of staff, his right hand in both business and life, the man Erika Kirk once called extraordinary. But now, that word drips with irony. Because think about it, if your mentor, your partner, your friend collapses in chaos, and you don't even blink, That's not shock. That's awareness. That's control. Frame by frame, the truth starts to crawl out. Before Charlie even stumbles, Mikey's already clutching his phone, already dialing, already moving, as if he'd been waiting for that exact moment. The deeper you look, the colder it gets. It's almost like he knew what was coming, seconds before the world did. Viewers can't shake the feeling. This isn't coincidence, it's choreography. Reporters are breaking down every frame, body language experts weighing in, fans flooding threads with theories. Why didn't he freeze, flinch, feel anything? Who was on that call that somehow mattered more than the man collapsing behind him? Every angle of that footage spawns new questions, none with clear answers. And Mikey's silence. It's gasoline on a growing fire. Because when Charlie was being lifted into the waiting SUV, there he was again. Mikey in the background, back turned, still glued to his phone, like nothing around him existed. He didn't lean in, didn't check if his friend was breathing, didn't even look. It's as if he'd stepped into another world, one where someone on the other end of that call already knew exactly what was happening. The internet can't stop zooming in, rewinding, analyzing. What was that call about? Fans keep asking. He couldn't have known Charlie's condition. Not from that distance, not with his back turned. So what was he saying that was so urgent, so calm, so precise? That's when the story twists again. Pastor Rob McCoy, Mikey's own father, stepped forward, claiming his son had bruises and blood on him from being caught in the chaos, that he phoned home the instant it began. But if that's true, then why does the footage show him spotless, steady, untouched? The details don't fit. And now people are whispering that the covered-in-blood claim might be nothing more than damage control, a story spun to paint Mikey as a hero instead of a bystander. Two narratives, one camera. One shows calm. The other screams cover up. Another story screams panic. So which version is real? Because right now, the truth feels buried under too many convenient half explanations. Charlie was said to have been struck near the neck area. But here's the thing. Multiple eyewitnesses have already stepped forward saying that claim just isn't true. People who were right there, close enough to see. Everything have confirmed that there was no visible blood on Mikey McCoy at all. And it makes sense. How could there have been any when Mikey literally walked away before Charlie even lost balance and never came close afterward? The footage backs it up completely. So now everyone's wondering why lie about something that can be proven false so easily. Why would Pastor Rob McCoy, a respected public figure, add such a dramatic detail when it clearly doesn't match what's on video? Was it to shift public sympathy to make Mikey look like a shaken witness instead of someone people might question? Because that's exactly how it feels. But just when you think it can't get stranger, it does. Erika Kirk, Charlie's widow, stepped in and told her own version of events. She claims she was the one who got the call from Mikey right after everything happened. So now we've got two different stories, one from the father, one from the widow, and neither line up with the footage or each other. Then on September 21st, the New York Times published an interview with Erika, and what they printed only deepened the confusion. Her words raised even more questions about what really happened in those critical moments, and who Mikey was really speaking to when that mysterious call went through. According to the New York Times interview, Miss Erika Kirk said she was sitting in her mother's hospital room in Phoenix at exactly 11:23 a.m. when her phone lit up with a familiar name, Mikey McCoy, her husband's longtime assistant. She said the moment she saw his name pop up, she somehow knew something was terribly wrong, even before he spoke. Moments later, she heard Mikey's panicked voice yelling through the line, "He's been hit." Words that she claims still echo in her head to this day. But here's where the story takes a confusing turn.
So what do you think, huh?
Both Pastor Rob McCoy and Erika say Mikey called them right after the incident, just seconds apart. The problem, that's only possible if it was some kind of group call, yet neither one has ever mentioned that detail. So, how could both have received that same urgent message at the same exact moment? And even stranger, their versions don't match. Erika said Mikey shouted he's been hit, while Rob insisted Mikey told him Charlie was struck near the throat. Two completely different phrases, two separate tones, yet supposedly one call. Something's off here. Plus, the footage clearly shows Mikey lifting his phone straight to his ear without ever dialing a number first. You can literally see it. No fingertips, no scrolling, no dialing, just straight to his ear. That tiny detail might be the biggest clue of all. If he wasn't calling out, then maybe, just maybe, someone was calling him first. And if that's true, then everything we've been told about that phone call might need a serious second look. Now, TPSA has officially fired back, and they're not holding back at all. Their spokesperson, Andrew Covey, jumped in to defend Mikey McCoy, saying people are twisting what really happened. According to him, Mikey wasn't calm or suspicious. He was just stunned. Covey insists that Mikey covered his ears only because the sudden loud noise was overwhelming, leaving him disoriented and shell-shocked from the chaos that erupted around him. Covey also added that Mikey immediately tried to follow protocol, saying Charlie had personally instructed him to call Erika first and then reach out to his father, Pastor Rob McCoy. Supposedly, Mikey was just trying to keep everyone informed like he'd been trained to. Not hiding, not scheming, just doing his job while shaken up from what happened. But hold up, here's where the confusion kicks right back in. If Mikey was only making calls to follow instructions, then why did Pastor Rob publicly claim his son was covered in blood at the scene? That part doesn't line up at all with the footage or with Cov's version of events. So who's telling the truth here? Was Rob simply emotional and exaggerating the details? Or is there something much deeper behind these conflicting stories? The contradictions are piling up fast, and people are starting to wonder what's really being protected and by whom. They still haven't managed to give a solid explanation for that part, and it's starting to sound suspiciously convenient. Because let's be real, Mikey McCoy couldn't have possibly had any real information to share with Erika or his father in those first few seconds. He never even turned around to see what condition Charlie was in. So, how could he have known anything about what was happening unless he already had some inside knowledge before it all went down? That's the question that's got everyone talking. And that theory alone opens up a whole new can of mystery. If Mikey somehow knew what had happened without even looking back, then that changes everything about this story. Was it intuition? Was it communication with someone else? Or was it something far more deliberate? The internet's in full investigation mode, trying to connect the dots. Then comes the most baffling part. Erika Kirk's first public speech after losing her husband. Instead of focusing solely on her grief, she took a moment to smile and give a heartfelt shout out to none other than the amazing Mikey McCoy. People couldn't believe it. Why mention another man? And with a smile during such an emotional moment about her husband's passing. It rubbed so many viewers the wrong way. That one strange smile has turned into a viral talking point online. Some call it misplaced gratitude, others call it a red flag. Either way, it added a whole new layer of tension to an already tangled situation. Meanwhile, Turning Point USA host Frank Turk took things even further during a recent interview, calling him the great Mikey McCoy. That praise shocked everyone. Viewers were left asking, what's really going on here? Why is Mikey suddenly being treated like some kind of hero when the footage and stories just don't line up? The internet's eating this up, and speculation is spreading like wildfire. There are countless theories swirling right now, but one in particular is catching serious traction. People are starting to believe that Charlie might have been betrayed from within by the very people who built their careers and reputations off his name. The theory suggests that loyalty might have been replaced with ambition, and that those closest to him were already positioning themselves for power long before the chaos even unfolded. And when it comes to Erika, things look even more suspicious. Some online investigators are pointing out how easily she seemed to slide into leadership mode right after the tragedy, as if she was already lined up to take over Charlie's entire media empire. It's the kind of timing that feels way too convenient to be coincidence. Now, there's one particular post from X, formerly Twitter, that's blowing up right now, getting reposted, dissected, and debated nonstop. People are saying this viral thread might finally make sense of the whole situation, connecting the dots between the timing, the praise, and Mikey's strange calmness. If what it claims is true, then this story could turn into one of the biggest scandals the movement's ever faced. So this viral post from that ex-user dropped a bombshell theory, claiming that Turning Point USA had allegedly turned into a full-on money funnel and influence trading operation. According to the post, Charlie eventually caught on to what was really happening behind the scenes and was getting ready to expose it all. He was reportedly preparing to speak out to shine a light on how deep the connections between the organization, its donors, and political power players really ran. But here's the twist. The post also claims that most of the big-name donors and top staff were already in on it, which would mean Charlie's sudden change of heart was seen as a massive threat. His shift in loyalty and his public statements supposedly went against what these donors stood for, shaking the foundation of the entire operation. If this theory is even halfway true, it explains why tensions exploded so fast behind the scenes. Now people are asking the big question. Did Mikey McCoy and Erika Kirk know more than they're letting on? Were they simply bystanders? Or were they part of something much deeper? Maybe even helping to control the narrative after everything went down. At this point, it's all still speculation, but the more people dig, the more it looks like every key player had their own part to play and maybe even knew exactly when to step off stage. What do you think?
Well, I mean, come on. She couldn't even cry at his memorial service. I mean, she's just doing one of these, you know? No tears. And the amazing Mikey McCoy. And the amazing J.D. Vance. I guess we'll see how this thing unfolds. I'll attach the link. Look at it. Pass it along. And thanks for listening.